Good evening. This is a conference meeting of the City Council of the City of Orange Township held in Council Chambers, City Hall, 29 North Day Street, Orange, New Jersey, on Tuesday, May 7, 2017, at 7 p.m. Roll call. Councilwoman Eason?
Here.
Councilman Jackson is absent. Councilman Johnson Jr.?
Here.
Councilwoman Summers Johnson will not be attending tonight. Councilwoman Williams is absent. Councilwoman Wooten?
Here.
Council President Coley?
Present.
Also present, Joyce Lanier, the city clerk, Chris M. Hartwick, the business administrator, Gracia R. Montillis, the city attorney, Marty Mays, planning and public works director, Councilman Chris Jackson,
Here.
Captain Vinny Vidiello, the police department, Ken Goodman, legislative research officer, Lisette Sanchez, record support technician. Please stand for a moment of silence.
Let's remember Art Griffer, former Board of Ed president, long-time Orange resident. Thank you.
Please be apprised, anyone wishing to discuss agenda or general items shall sign one book. Each person signing the book will be allowed to speak for a maximum of 5 minutes. The requirements of NJSA 10:4-9 et sec, the Sunshine Law, has been met. A notice of this meeting was sent to the Star Ledger, published in a record transcript on July 12, 2018, posted on the bulletin board in City Hall, and filed in the office of the city clerk. We have no matters of discussion. Council members, are there any resolutions on tonight's agenda that you wish to discuss, or ordinances?
Council members, any resolution ordinances?
So,
I just have one, 18, 2019. That, I guess in the heading, it should read across from 196 Oakwood Avenue. I mean, Oakwood Place, I'm sorry, Oakwood Place.
so you can make the motion to amend it when we get to vote on it.
Council President,
Yes, Councilwoman.
what is 165, 2019, and where did that come from?
165. That's the Community Development Corporation.
That who owns?
That is the agency that is governed by Orange and East Orange, right there on Main Street, across almost from the shop right now, by the Walgreens. They do services for East Orange and Orange residents.
Well, since when did we have an appointment to that committee?
We always had an appointment. It's just that I don't know if we had that vacancy filled lately, but it has always been, I think, 1 or 2 appointments
So
from Orange.
Did you float it before the council to see if you had any more volunteers that might like to do that?
I did not. I was asked by Councilwoman Donna Williams, and I granted her request. And I believe we have another appointment to that board. If you are interested in sitting on that board, by all means, we would love to have another person from Orange on that board.
I'll take it.
Okay. Just more stuff for you to do. Thank you.
Council President?
Yes, Councilman Johnson.
At one time, I believe former Councilman Elroy Corbett sat on the board.
I believe, yes.
I don't know if he's still situated, but
He did?
I think so, yeah.
Oh,
I believe
okay.
so.
Any other questions, Councilwoman
For the
Eason?
record, Councilwoman Williams arrived at 7:08, and
I think
Captain
I had
Padilla
another one.
is representing the fire department. He's here, 7:08.
Any other questions regarding ordinances or resolutions, council members? Madam Clerk?
Council President?
Yes,
If I
Mr.
could,
BA?
Just for everybody's, who's out there keeping track, the ordinance 19-2019, I would like to hold that to the 21st,
Okay,
because the box that I had promised getting up on the website did not get up in time.
okay.
And this will give the public an opportunity to look at those documents before you vote on them.
2019, okay.
In addition, you'll notice the absence of a resolution introducing the budget. We're still working on the budget. We're going to be having a meeting with the state over certain issues that the budget presents that I need to discuss with the state, and I hope to have it introduced at the first meeting in June.
Anything about the other ordinance that was possibly going to be postponed?
That's the one, 19, that's the one you said in May. 12 definitely is going to be postponed. And 19 was the.
That's right.
So both are
12
being
should be postponed. I apologize, I forgot. We're still making changes to that ordinance as were discussed with the council president.
But also,
So for the record, Director Mapp arrived at 7:10.
can I make a comment? I know it's not, but also as we just realize as we do these parking permits, we gotta make sure the parking signs that's on them streets or
Go ahead.
mailed with the parking permit, because you do the permit, the people get the decal, then all of a sudden, you look at the signs and it doesn't reflect what the permit is doing.
Right, and-
So we gotta look at what we've done so far and go back and look at the signs of those streets so that the residents don't continually to get tickets.
Right, so the signs that you're talking about, actually, I had an exchange with the court director today. The ones that you're talking about are the ones on Oakwood. Where
Right.
people got tickets because the signs don't say no parking between 2 AM and 6 AM without a permit. They just say no parking between 2 AM and 6 AM.
Yeah, I think we just need to fix it, and once we fix it, where is, Vinny? Captain Vici, to make sure that our police officers get the updates, because somehow or another, that's not translating over to them.
Captain Vinny Vidal, Chief Law Enforcement Officer, Orange Police Department, on behalf of Director Todd Warren. Yeah, there was a little mishap, a little mix-up, and our police officers weren't notified, so where this happened, we're suspending parking until it gets cleared up. It wasn't on our end where the mishap occurred, but
No, but I think a lot of the new officers that you have are not getting the information they need. Also, behind, over by Public Works, I don't know if you're aware, they went over there and gave tickets to the Public Works workers. I didn't know that was a decal they supposed to have in their window, because they've been parking there for years. One of your officers went over there and started issuing tickets to the Public Works workers,
and
so.
we're supposed to have a decal, correct?
Yeah, but I'm saying,
So the cops are doing what they're supposed to do. You're damned if you do, damned if you don't.
But I'm
And number
saying-
two, concerning the permit parking, our officers issued the tickets rightfully and just, where they were supposed to be issued.
yeah, I'm right, you're right.
And they were informed, but it was a mistake on another department's part and not the police department. So the cops are doing as they should do.
I think it's just this, the miscommunication about the signs and the permit. And they don't, we're not blaming anybody, I'm just saying
I
we
know,
need to,
I'm just telling you what happened.
we need to
what
do a better
transpired.
job at fixing things when we're issuing permits to make sure everything is.
Absolutely right.
Yeah.
We
And
don't issue, we
everybody
just enforce.
Yeah, and not enforcement, but just communication.
Yes.
Communication, to make sure they know.
Any other questions?
Not yet.
Thank you.
Any other ordinances or resolutions? Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Wait,
Motion.
Council President, before you, are you
Yes,
adjourning?
Councilwoman.
Are you adjourning a conference meeting? That's what you're getting ready to do?
Yes.
Do we happen to hear from our, are you gonna wait for the reports for the county member? You gonna wait for the reports? That's fine, I'm just asking.
You mean from, I guess we can do it now, so he can get up out of here.
Mr. Walker, would you like to give your report now?
Or you want to stay till 11?
He has to reintroduce himself.
Thank you, Councilwoman Williams.
I earned that one. Tim Walker, County Liaison to the Township of Orange. Good evening.
Good evening, sir. How are you?
Very good, very good. I've grayed a little since I've been here. Councilwoman Williams,
Yes.
were you able to?
I'll be
submit
down there
that?
tomorrow.
Okay.
Have some things going on, but I do, there were some concerns with the park. I didn't send the pictures, but I'll
Okay.
send you the pictures of what I have. But from the time that I told you and I went back and looked, there were some improvements, but there were a little couple of things that
Okay.
still needed to be approved. So I'll send you those pictures right now.
Just to
And-
fill everyone in, I had received a call and a text from Councilwoman Williams about concerns with debris and tree limbs being down at Orange Park. 2 weeks ago, they had done a cleanup. Apparently, there was still some additional limbs to be followed up on. I did speak to the Director of Parks, Dan Salvante. He promised that he would get back out there.
Okay. And then the second thing was, Mr. Hartwick, when we went on a tour of South Mountain, so to speak, and we were right by that waterfall area,
The one by Lily Pond or the one by Campbell's Pond?
I think we were by Lily Pond, maybe?
The furthest one?
Closer to Milburn, yes.
Okay.
So what is that area called?
That's Campbell's Pond.
Okay, so Campbell's Pond. I just wanted to say that, having to be up there, seeing, local residents fishing and, with their permit on yesterday. So I just, for us, it looks great up there.
Good.
And that, and I like for people that go up there and it was like, oh, and if you don't, if this is not enough, go down by the reservoir. Oh, that's your reservoir, you know about it. So I'm just, South Mountain looks good, that's what I'm saying. It's a
Good.
very, quick getaway and, keeping it up,
Good,
okay?
very good. Were there any questions, concerns?
I have a couple. You sent me an email, because I
It's
meant to
okay,
type it
that's
last
fine.
night, but I didn't, but last year, the year before, on the spot by Oakwood Avenue, I had asked the county to put double garbage cans there because the garbage overflows. But now I see that there's no cans on that side at all. So just for the summer that's coming up, can we put double cans there? Because if you guys don't pick up that garbage on Saturday, Sunday, it looks horrible because the cans are piled up and garbage is everywhere. So Phil put 2 cans in each spot to catch the overflow.
So double cans at Oakwood, you said?
Yeah, on the Oakwood side, all the way down from Central Avenue down to, I don't know what that dead end street is down there, all the way down. Otherwise, it really looks bad on a Sunday morning when the garbage is all over everywhere.
Okay,
But at least if you put the double cans in there, they will put the garbage in the cans, because what happened is, people will come and park there and clean out their car
and just throw stuff
and just
out.
leave it right there
Gotcha,
on the side.
okay.
And
what
as you
else?
clean up the park, could you make sure he takes away all of those rotten tree stumps, that they could get a
The
stump
stumps themselves?
and
Okay.
pull them out, yeah, so it will look nice and neat. But I have to give you guys a compliment. You cleaned up the water the other day when it was flooding,
Good,
and when the last rain came, even though I went through there that day, they were working really hard. It didn't flood, and the park didn't flood.
good,
So
good to hear.
thank them for that.
Definitely will. Anybody else? Yes, sir.
Yeah, can you tell me the status of the field house in Orange Park? I'm told that the bathrooms are not functioning.
I am not aware of it, but I can find out. You're saying that none of the bathrooms are functioning?
That's what I didn't get a chance to personally check it myself, but there was an event, I think this past weekend, and I was told that the bathrooms were not functioning for whatever reason.
Okay, so I will notify the Director of Parks about that.
potentially they're gonna have to come in and, if it's bad enough, it may need a contract and bidding to be done, but let's see what the problem is.
All right, and can you just, I guess, forward the information to the clerk and just let us know?
Sure,
Thank you.
definitely.
Yep.
Anyone else? You had made reference about the Ian Betts case?
Yeah.
Okay.
Look at this, see, look, my question, your thoughts, you working, go ahead.
I just want to be careful
I know, I
Is
see
that
your
something we can
face.
talk about?
I
that
ju-
we don't discuss it in public
Okay.
to the extent that it's going to get into any details that would be subject to the attorney-client privilege.
Well, do you want to, let him give you the update let him give you the question and update the ask, and then you'll make a determination best, y'all can, like,
Well,
step
Would
out.
you like to do it off?
That's what I said, why don't you just step out and
Okay.
just see, yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you, folks.
You're welcome.
Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Move.
Motion by Councilwoman Wooten, second by Councilwoman Williams. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Meeting adjourned 7:20 PM. You want to just keep moving?
Just keep moving. Keep it going.
This is a regular meeting of the City Council of the City of Orange Township held in Council Chambers, City Hall, 29 North Day Street, Orange, New Jersey, on Tuesday, May 7, 2019, following the conference meeting. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Roll call. Councilwoman Easton? Here. Councilman Jackson?
Here.
Councilman Johnson Jr.?
Here.
Councilwoman Summers Johnson is absent. Councilwoman Williams?
Present.
Councilwoman Wooten?
Here.
Council President Coley?
Present.
Also present, Joyce Lanier, the city clerk. Chris M. Hartwick, the business administrator, stepped out the room. Gracia R. Metellus stepped out the room. Captain Elvin Padilla for the fire department. Adrian Mapp, the finance director. Marty Mays, planning and public works director. Captain Vinnie Vitiello, police department. Ken Goodman, legislative research officer. And Lisette Sanchez, record support technician, clerk's office. The requirements of NJSA 10:4-9 et sec, the Sunshine Law, has been met. A notice of this meeting was sent to the Star Ledger, published in the Record Transcript on July 12, 2018, posted on the bulletin board in City Hall, and filed in the office of the city clerk. There are no minutes to be approved. Reports. The city clerk office collected for the month of April $497.75. The Orange Historic Preservation Commission for the month of April collected $420. Department of Community Service for the month of April collected $17,576. Constable reports. Richard Noisy for the month of April, on April 7th, he did the monthly meeting, April 14th, 21st, and 28th, church security. There are no Oprah reports, council reports.
We start with finance?
Thank you, Council President.
Yep.
In attendance with myself, Councilman Jackson, Councilman Johnson Jr., BA Mr. Hartwick, City Attorney Mr. Montellis, Citizen Appointee Carol Perkins, and our clerk, Mr. Fields. I asked the BA about the status of our reval and standing, and he's going to arrange for the tax assessor to come before this governing body at a June meeting to discuss where we are with our reval, the number of appeals, and so on and so forth that are coming in. I also asked about the status of the Superior Officers Association contract, because it's supposed to come before us for approval. The BA stated that he wants to settle and introduce all contracts at the same time. I asked the BA the status of shared services conversations, and I'm gonna let him come back and talk about that. Asked about status of new benches, like the bench, transit bench that's right on Central Avenue on the curve, as an example. The VA said that we will be receiving them for certain areas, and they'll be installed as soon as they're received. Grassman Tellers will be walking on ordinance to stop drivers from crossing double lines to park on Main Street. He will have the ordinance ready for the next council meeting. Harold Johnson, H.J., he discussed Carteret Terrace and dumping in the backyard and in various backyards, and the BA is going to investigate that. I inquired about two properties that are fire damaged and they have been sitting for a while. One is North Center Street and one is South Center and one is, Hilliard Street. South Center, we have a resolution on our in our agenda tonight that's up for consideration, and glad, we right on the Finance Committee. What did we say about the Hilliard Place property, the fire property?
We were going to have Mr. Mays check into it.
Okay.
Now, which,
The fire property on Hillier.
Hilliard and William.
that property, I understand it has been damaged by fire, but we have other properties that has been damaged by fire that has sat for years.
Can I get,
And, and the owners are actively trying to get this property, up and running.
Okay.
So I don't know if,
so the
There's a-
question is, so what's the status? That's the question.
okay, because I'm about to say, look, let's not start hammering people.
No, I
Who
said that
properties just, just recently caught on fire, and we have stuff that's been sitting for years. I'm about to say,
Okay.
where we going here?
Okay.
I can give the status now
Okay.
if that's appropriate. The status of the Hilliard Street fire is that from the beginning, the owner said that he wanted to rebuild. That's the only reason why it wasn't torn down.
Okay.
I spoke to him 2 days ago. He's gonna come up and bring plans next week.
Okay.
So he actively wants to rebuild this property. That's the only reason why we didn't take it. And then, just to mention while I'm up here, the status of the property on South, well, you see it on the agenda. Once the resolution passes, we get the PSE&G letter, and that one should be torn down in a matter of weeks.
Okay.
Hey.
Go ahead.
I guess it's new proactive approach, but I hope this is something in the attitude that we're going to continue going forward. And I hope we just not go into a cherry pick properties that are fire damaged. So if this is going to be the new standard, let it be across the board.
Right, so that everybody understands, I said this a couple other times, the standard is not determined by me, it's determined by the construction official. So he responds to every property fire that we have via the fire department, and any property that's deemed to be a hazard, an imminent hazard, or unsafe structure has been torn down. So any property that you see out there that's fire damaged that hasn't been torn down is because it's not deemed an unsafe structure or imminent hazard.
So, Hickory and Taylor, those properties, being that you open up this door, matter of fact, no.
No, I'm glad you're bringing that up, because I can respond, because, and I don't go crazy with this.
I'm not gonna go
but I
crazy, but
spoke
when you open this door, let me hear.
But I spoke to the owner today.
Okay.
And he tells me that tomorrow he's gonna close on the one that you're concerned about on Hickory. Now, he's told me that before, but he says tomorrow's the day. I just spoke to him earlier today.
And what if tomorrow isn't the day? What you gonna do?
We gotta see.
You have proactive action.
We
plan.
have a plan. Me
Okay.
and Chris came
All
up
right.
with a plan,
Okay.
but I'm trying to give this guy an opportunity, and he's had many,
And
so
this
you're
is
right.
going on for years.
Well, that one, yes, and then that one wasn't deemed unsafe when it happened either, but,
Okay, so
all right?
I don't want to belabor this, but
Okay.
let's go.
all right. Mr. Hart, wait, you were out of the room. I skipped over the one about, I believe you're continually having conversations about shared service opportunity, specifically perhaps the courts and fire. Those are easier, but I just wanted to let you speak to that.
With regard to the courts, we were approached by, in a meeting at the municipal court by the assignment judge and the presiding municipal court judge, and specifically given the names of certain communities that might be interested in some form of cooperative agreement with the city regarding the operation of their municipal courts. I've contacted those municipalities, and I'll report back at the appropriate time. With regard to EMS, we're in the early stages, but I have raised in the Urban Administrators Association meetings the need to come up with either a shared service model or a regional model to address the problems that municipalities are having meeting their EMS requirements. Union County does it somewhat differently. They do it on a countywide basis. Essex County does not do that. At some point, I will engage the county executive and his chief of staff and business administrator in a discussion regarding regional approach to EMS. I'm also mindful of a variety of changes that are being implemented in connection with hospitals, as well as the EMT services that are associated with those hospitals. And we have to see how that plays out, particularly as it relates to RWJ St. Barnabas and some of the smaller community hospitals that are still operating.
Thank you. Councilman Jackson inquired about the reports on grants that are awarded and received. And Mr. Hartwick, you said you're going to provide that grant? You're going to provide the report? I'm sorry, sir.
Yeah, I was hoping to have it tonight, but I didn't get an opportunity to do that today. So I will send it out before the next board meeting.
Okay. I stated that we will have a walk-on tonight honoring the life of Mr. Griffith. And if right now you could speak about, we're waiting on a report from you about handicap and just parking in general as we move forward.
Sure. We're compiling a report identifying all of the handicap parking spaces throughout the city, including those that are designated by specific permit, and all the public handicap parking spaces. In addition, we're reviewing the signage, which I think Councilwoman Eason spoke to earlier, not just signage in areas where we have now allowed, through hardship, the grant of an overnight parking permit on street, but also signage anywhere else where we've changed the regulations, because it's clear to me, based upon a review and reviewing some photographs that have been sent to me, that our signage is either inconsistent or some of the old signage hasn't been removed when the new signage is put up, and that creates some confusion. There's also a question about the sufficiency of the signage in certain areas, and by that I mean too great a distance between signs, such that people who are actually looking for a parking space may not actually see the sign because it's at one end of the block or the other. We're addressing those. First, we have to identify all the issues, and we'll present a report with the handicap parking space report. And I anticipate that we'll have that by June, or in June, I should say.
Thank you. Going to the agenda, you've already stated that ordinance 12 is going to be postponed. The Finance Committee is recommending 7 and 18 be moved forward. 19 is being postponed as well. On the resolutions, 153, 154, 155, Finance Committee is recommending move forward. 156, this will be a tremendous resolution, so I'm going to come back to that. 157, Finance Committee recommends moving forward. There will be an additional meeting regarding the skate park. 158, 159, recommend moving forward. 160, Finance Committee recommends moving forward. 161 to 164, recommend moving forward. 165, I have the bylaws for you, Mr. Hartwick. Going back to 156, the big project of streets is coming, and upon signing the work will commence and notification. You were going to speak to those two things.
So I'm going to ask Mr. Mays if he would come up and detail the notification process that we'll undertake for all of those streets and what the schedule for commencement is.
Okay, Marty Mays, Director of Planning and DBW. I forgot that the first time. For notification purposes, it's normally door-to-door delivery of a letter outlining what's going to take place on each street and when. It's primarily a couple days or sometimes a day or two before each street starts. So after this, or when this passes tonight, the next thing will be the pre-construction meeting. And the pre-construction meeting will outline specifically when each street is going to be done. And that's up to the contractor based on the delivery of the asphalt and what's more economically, the most economically feasible way to proceed. And once that is out, I will make that master schedule available to the clerk's office for everybody to get a copy of it. And keep in mind, that doesn't mean exactly that it will go exactly that way, because sometimes certain things pop up that delay a day or two, but for the most part, that should be and will be the schedule. Another thing that I wanted to get out there so it doesn't come back and look bad later is that originally the loan was 10 million, and based on the soft costs being taken out, that's how you get down to the 9.229 figure that you see tonight. And I just wanted to be noted that originally it was supposed to be 39 or 38 streets. Based on what the bids came in as, it's only now down to 31 streets. And I have an updated schedule. I meant to grab it and bring it up. I can provide it to the clerk's office, and she can get it out to everybody tomorrow. I can go grab it now, make a couple of copies.
Can we, at some point in the meeting, can you grab it? I mean, how many pages is it?
It's one page.
Okay, and make copies for everybody?
Okay.
Thank you.
Everybody can.
Good. Thank you, sir.
So before you move on, Mr. Walker, do you have an additional comments? No, I didn't. No, you good?
I'm sorry, one more, Mr. Hartwick, don't forget, with the Berwin Street, we wanted to try to, coordination, if we can, of efforts. You were gonna make,
I mentioned that to Mr. Mays today.
okay,
We'll do what we can.
okay, right.
You done?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anything from planning, Mr. Easton, Councilwoman?
No,
No. ABC?
no.
Library?
Council President, I don't have a formal report, but I'm ecstatic because I think I see in the audience the library's new Board of Directors president. I'd just like for him to stand so we can acknowledge
If he,
Brother Dave McKnight has been voted as the lead, the library board as its new president.
All right. Anything you want to say, Mr. McKnight?
Congratulations.
Happy to be a part of this progress and trying to make the changes that we need to in Orange.
You want to step up to the podium, if you don't mind? Thank you, sir.
Avoid that.
He already prepped him that we're gonna
Grill him.
be rough on him at the budget, so.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. How are you, sir?
Good to be here. Just happy to be a part of the progress and the changes that's coming to Orange, and look forward to working with everyone and trying to get everything where it needs to be.
Thank you.
All right?
Okay.
And
Council
you do
President?
know our BA, don't you?
I do know Mr. Chris Hardwick.
Okay.
Had a couple of meetings with him.
Okay, good. As long as you know him and you guys, okay, good. Thank you.
I don't know. I don't see the look on his face. I don't know.
Council
Okay.
President?
We've already had many discussions.
Councilwoman Williams.
McKnight?
Yes,
Mr. McKnight, when's the next meeting?
It's Thursday, May 9th.
Are there any, because we won't convene again till 2 weeks from this date, are there any events coming up that we should know about or anything?
There's a couple of finance events that's coming up in June. Jacqueline Weisner from M&T Bank will be leading. I know Barry, I'm trying to think of Barry's last name.
From school?
From the school, yes. Barry DeVoe. Also is having a community-based event, and I believe that's June 4th. And I believe Jacqueline Weisner from M&T Bank is also going to be there on the 4th and the 8th. And she will be soon doing financial literacy programs.
Oh, yeah, requirement, right.
There's also, I'm just trying to remember directly off my head. I was unscheduled for the meeting tonight, so I didn't bring any paperwork with me. I just popped in. I was in the area. I know there's an open mic on May 20th. Anything else I can't think of?
That's all right. That's
You're
fine.
good.
I mean, but whatever you can think of, I guess, down the road, you can just forward it to the clerk's office. We appreciate it.
Certainly will.
Yep.
All right, thank you
sir.
very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Quick question, did you ever reach out to M&T Bank, the new manager that wanted to become part of the library? You guys had a conversation?
I actually have an appointment next week.
Okay.
I've already broached the conversation with him, but I also needed to broach the issue about the Old Friends Board.
Okay, all right.
And Council President?
Yes, sir.
If I could, there are just two things that I think will help move the meeting along.
Yep.
First, I wanted the council to be aware of the fact that I discovered, with the assistance of the Planning Department and outside counsel, that the procedure for the adoption of the Main Street Development Plan, redevelopment plan, was not followed, the statutory process. It lacked a second notification published in the newspaper, and that process will be redone. A memo is being prepared on the procedure to follow by one of the city's redevelopment councils, which will be forwarded to the planning board to correct that process. Second, I wanted everyone to know, I think you all do, but I wanted everyone to know that we closed on the acquisition of the Bank of America property, the Kelly Gamba property, and on the Rossi Hardware, Paint and Hardware property, and on the transfer of the Bank of America property to Rossi Paint and Hardware. The next phase in that project will be the completion, obviously, of the redevelopment plan for Main Street, and then thereafter, the selection of a redeveloper for the process, or for the project. So, the closing was accomplished by the use of the notes that were authorized by you. We fully anticipate, upon selection of an appropriate development partner and approval by the council, that those funds will be reimbursed to the city.
Since you, Council President?
Councilwoman
Mr. Hartwick,
Easton.
since you opened that up, could you just update the public on what's the status of the master plan?
Sure.
And if it's approved, and what we need to do next to make sure we close that book?
Absolutely. So as you all know, the master plan has been adopted by the planning board. It is the planning board under the statute that is required to take action on the master plan. The completed, approved master plan has been forwarded and posted on the website. The next step is we have the planners along with city council and redevelopment council working on the zoning ordinance amendments which will implement the provisions of the master plan that have been approved. That zoning ordinance will come to you within the next 60 days. We're hopeful. I haven't yet seen the initial draft. I'm hoping to get that in short order. And then that initial draft will be circulated and discussed between the various administrative departments that will be responsible for implementing and policing it. That will include city attorney, his office, the planning office, the public works office, the zoning officer, and the administrator's office. So we're well into the process. It should move relatively evenly over the next 3 months. Obviously, a zoning ordinance of this magnitude, because every zone will be changed, will require public hearings, just like any ordinance. But I think in this case, we're going to ask that you set aside sufficient time, because we expect you'll have fairly substantial public comment.
Hey, Council President, if I may,
Councilman
while the
Johnson.
BA's on that subject,
Yep.
this final process that you referred to after that, is that when we go on the clock for having another 10 years before we broach this again? Is that the final before we become legit?
Well, the statute would, yes, in short order. The statute gives you the requirement of revisiting your master plan every 10 years, but you don't necessarily have to do a completely new master plan. You can do a reexamination. But I think we just have to sort of play that by ear. You don't have to wait a full 10 years if things change substantially in that time frame, and it needs to be updated. So there are a number of municipalities that have actually, every 5 years, do a reexamination, just to keep on top of what changes might have occurred. And the way the municipal land use law is set up, you're supposed to get an annual report from the zoning board. I think, I'm not sure if the planning board has to do it, I'd have to check. But the zoning board is the only entity that can grant use variances. So they're required to give you an annual report at the end of every year on any use variances that they have granted and all of the applications that they've heard. So that, because use variances are an indication that things have changed and the zoning ordinance hasn't kept up. So.
If I may, Council President?
Councilman Jackson.
While we're on the master plan, the master plan presents to me as somewhat a reconstruction of Orange in many ways. And in compliance with that, as we have projects going forward, I know that they have to be in compliance with that plan. If their plan could clearly state how they comply, so that we don't have to look for it. I think that language should be in all plans going forward.
Well, every single applicant who appears before the planning board or the Board of Adjustment is required, as part of their proofs, to demonstrate how they comply with the master plan.
Yes,
And those boards should be mindful of that,
yes,
that they have, the applicants have to explain that.
I understand. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anything from Public Works? I don't see Ms. Gordon.
Council President, I just want to remind everybody, the flyers are out, and that the citywide cleanup is on June 1st. And if there is a project that individuals or a group would like to work on, if they will contact the clerk's office and speak to Lisette, I guess. I don't know, you're the first person I see, but if they can call the clerk's office and just, so we can make sure that they're connected to the right person. But it is June 1st. And the simple, what would be great is for everybody to come out in front of their door in their area and clean in front of that area. But if persons would like to do something beyond that, your church family, if there's a center or one of the schools, please let us know. It's we're doing this in conjunction for the second year with the city of East Orange. So not only will Orange be clean, but our borders where we connect with East Orange will be cleaned as well. That's it. Thank you.
Yep. Police, anything you want to add? Thank you, sir.
Hello again, everyone.
Hello again.
Captain Vinny Vidiello, Chief Law Enforcement Officer, Orange Police Department, in for Director Todd Warren. I just want to start off by going over a really good job that was performed by the personnel of the Orange Police Department. And if you guys have, I don't know if you checked your emails, the mayor put out a nice little synopsis about the incident. I would like to read it to you guys.
Yes.
It's a really nice job. I would like to share with you just one recent example of the diligence and bravery of our Orange Police Department, whose quick action to make Orange Street safer should be celebrated by our whole community. On April 25th, on the 300 block of Park Avenue, Orange Police responded to a report of a domestic disturbance involving a firearm and the threatening of bodily harm to a child. Orange Police, upon arriving at the scene, identified and arrested a 26-year-old male after a brief foot chase. The suspect attempted to elude our officers but was apprehended in a nearby yard and was quickly placed under arrest. Further investigation found an AK-47 assault rifle, along with 2 magazines and 60 rounds of 7.62 ammo. It was located in the residence. So this guy he was aiming to do a lot of damage. So in addition, a second firearm loaded with 9mm ballpoint ammo and 5 9mm hollow point ammo was found in the backyard. The subject was subsequently charged under state domestic violence laws, simple assault, aggravated assault, criminal mischief, threatening, and weapons offenses. Our officers displayed courage, bravery, ingenuity, professionalism in bringing what could have been a tragic outcome to a safe resolution. Again, the safety of Orange families and the collaborative effort between residents, the community, and our law enforcement officers. Orange residents are always encouraged to notify OPD of any suspicious activity. Simply put, if you see something, say something. That's one of the few things that our officers do on a daily basis. In the last month, we recovered about maybe 5 under handguns. So this is, our guys are on the road. They're doing their job, and they're doing it in a professional and efficient manner. Now, along with the police work that we do, we're also very involved with the community. Our Community Service Bureau and the officers of the police department, every other Wednesday, like I stated before in the last meeting, they conduct food pantries. One at 105 Main Street, the Church of Epiphany, that's every other Wednesday, and 154 William Street, the Ebenezer Baptist Church, that's every other Thursday. Our officers assist the volunteers who hand out the food. Now, on April 27th, the DEA has a medicine pickup. Now, what that means is we put containers all throughout senior buildings and churches, where if you have any unused medication or medication you don't need anymore, you can drop it off. We did that after a couple weeks. The DEA was actually a little surprised. We recovered 85 pounds of unused medicine. That's a lot of medicine. So, we do that. And then on May 2nd, the Community Service Bureau and Orange PBA participated in the Rutgers University Food Drive, in which OPD was responsible for giving 180 meals to this event. In addition to that, we held processions with the Mount Carmel Church, Our Lady of the Valley, and St. Matthew's Church Carnival. And our CSB personnel, they regularly attend Career Day at all of our schools, along with attending community meetings. Also, on May 4th, we had the color run for Haywood Avenue School, in which we raffled off and donated 2 bicycles. And that's about it. So it's not only about the police work on the street, but it's working hand in hand with our community and our kids and our schools. And, I want to commend our department and our men for
And
doing
women.
the job that they do.
Any questions, comments for Captain Vitiello, council members?
We got a question. I call you every day.
I can hear everything. And I'm always here to help.
All right, thank you,
Job
Cap.
well done.
Thank you, thank you.
Council President,
Yes,
I
Councilman
want to thank Captain Vitiello for the update and the report, and thank you guys and ladies in blue for doing such a tremendous job. I mean, a lot of things are growing and evolving and changing in our town, and we like to hear that the police department is leading the way. Appreciate that.
Well, and we thank you guys, because you know what I think it is? I've been here 30 years, and if Council President Coley could attest to it, the synergy between City Hall, the police department, and the other departments is just harmonious, and it creates a better atmosphere and a working environment for all involved. All right, I just want to go over one more thing. We're also starting our police blog in a couple of weeks. We contacted the papers, and we're finally going to have our own police blog along with our Facebook postings. So,
And you should thank our business administrator for helping develop that relationship.
I thank him all the time in his office.
His doors are always open.
No, he's very understanding and accommodating to us, and we appreciate it.
He don't give us
As all of you are. Thank you.
He don't give us everything we want, but like uniforms for your crossing guards, you need to ask for that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right now.
Anything came from the fire department? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, Cap, how you doing today, man? Good, sir. Awesome.
Captain Padilla, Orange Fire Department. Great job, Ben. Cap, great job. We do similar things. We all know I'm not going to sit up here and brag, but I think it's wonderful to say these things and to hear these things that we all actually do all come together. I love this community and I love what we do for the people of this community. So that's great to hear that. Director Douglas couldn't be here today. So I just want to give you some public service announcements on some recruit issues. May 10th, at the recruits are having their ceremony. They finally graduate. We had 19 recruits. 18 made it. One is going to be recycled into the system as of June 17th. That ceremony is going to be at 333 Colfax Avenue in Clifton High School. That's ceremony number one. When they get here, we'll have them for about 2 weeks. And on the 16th, tentatively, we have a graduation / promotional ceremony at St. Matthew's Church, 336 Oakwood Avenue, and that starts at 5. The ceremony for the at Clifton starts at 6. Last week, we started our annual hydrant checks. We go out there and we check all the hydrants. We make sure the caps come off. We grease them, make sure they run water. We report to the Public Works and to the Water Department what's not working, what's broken, and we jump on it right away and get it fixed. We also, along with code enforcement, are identifying all vacant properties. I heard a couple of vacant property issues, but we're identifying them not only for fire department purposes, but we'll share that with police and with the city. What else?
Let me just jump
Okay, yes.
in on that so that the council's aware. We had a meeting involving all of the relevant departments, Public Works, Police, Fire, the tax offices. We had a representative from every department in the city. And we requested that each department do, as they're out and about the city, because the fire department's out checking fire hydrants, they're responding to calls, the police department's all over the city, that they create and forward to our property maintenance code department any property that appeared to be vacant, abandoned, run down, so that we could update our lists and then go out and check the properties. And that's where this effort comes from.
Correct. Thank you. Also, regarding, Mr. Harwood, regarding that EMS issue, I think it's definitely way overdue. I'm available for you. I'll be your foot soldier. I'm very interested in helping you out with that project before I depart. So,
You're not
tap
going
into
anywhere.
me. I appreciate you. That's all I have. Thank you. Any
One
questions?
quick question.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you, is the fire hydrant on the corner of Cleveland and Washington fixed?
Cleveland and Washington. I don't have that information for me, but I'll get that information to you tomorrow. Absolutely. I'll call
Mr.
you.
Mays, because we reported that, 2-3 years ago?
I can tell you, Ms. Easton, Councilwoman Easton, that the water department just went around, they painted, they tested, they identified all the hydrants for us. They actually tell us the size of the main, which is helpful for us when we're fighting fires. They tell us how much water flows, so they've been pretty diligent with their, with
Just
reporting
check on
to
that
us.
one for
But
me,
I will
'cause I
check
know
on
they
High
haven't.
and,
It's on Washington
Oh,
and Cleveland,
Cleveland.
sitting there right by the graveyard.
okay.
Council President,
Yes, Councilwoman Williams?
Captain Padilla,
Yes,
just
ma'am.
wanted to state that I had the opportunity to go and observe the trainees up in Morristown.
Yes.
And it was looking forward to our new class coming out. I think this Friday's graduation.
Yes.
So quick, it seems like, but what was the most pleasant thing to see was that babies I know. So it was a lot of, if not all, like babies that pretty much have gone through our school system, and have been engaged in the community one way or another. So I think it's going to be a tremendous surprise when they come out and you're getting old, sir. So.
I know. I can say, Councilwoman Williams, is that with the last couple of years, I've seen a real big push to stay within the community with firefighters, and we are in the schools. We've probably had some of the biggest numbers apply for the fire department in recent years since I've been here, along with Vinnie, 30 years.
Okay.
So I got to use them all the time. So it's a big effort from the fire department. A lot of young guys are helping, a lot of young guys still involved in the community, and that's
Right.
bringing in those faces, those
Yeah.
recognizable faces to
Yeah.
our department, which is great. No
Exactly.
better people to serve your community than your community.
The local
so-
people, so, very excited about this new class, so.
Thank you for
Thank you.
stopping in there, and I hope they took care of you.
Okay, thank you.
If I may, Council President?
Councilman Jackson,
I
yes, sir.
just wanted to reassure you that when you come here with good news, I don't think you're bragging. And you just putting a shine on things that people may not see.
Thank you,
So
sir.
we appreciate all the good work that you and the police department are doing, and, don't, I'm not gonna tell you how to feel, but just
I understand.
understand you're putting a shine on a great department, and we appreciate it when you do it on television in front of our citizens.
It's a reflection of a great city.
Yes, sir. Thank
So
you
we
very
put
much.
a big effort into a good city, so I really believe in this city, and there's a lot of great potential in this city.
I'm right with you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kevin.
Thank you, Cap.
Hey, Council President, I
Yes.
just want to thank Cap personally and ladies and men in blue for fighting that fire yesterday. And
Oh,
and
yes,
getting on
yes.
top of it, man. You
Yes,
cats
that was-
saved the building.
Yes, actually, just so those who don't know, we had a fire on Lincoln Avenue. We got a report of people trapped. When we got there, we found a older individual that was babysitting, I think it was two or three infants. And we found them hanging from the fire escape. Our guys went right to work. They went up the fire escape. They pulled them to safety. It was a small fire, contained, but to me, it was a big fire, especially being in the apartment with 2 or 3 infants and calling, and seems like no one's coming. So I appreciate you for mentioning that. I forgot that. Thank you.
Council President?
Yes,
I just want everybody to know that, speaking about community service, Director Douglas was awarded the Heritage Community Service Award this weekend from the Newark African American Heritage Day Parade, and this is one of many community services award he's received within the last 2 years.
Yes. Thank you for reminding me. Thank you.
Thanks for the information.
Council President?
yes, Mr.
Just,
Begay.
For those people who are wondering, Mr. Kenneth Goodman is sitting in for Marlon Towns tonight.
Thank you.
Welcome, Mr. Goodman. Welcome, sir. Good to see you tonight.
Anything from the Housing Authority?
I don't have anything.
Okay, that's fine. Madam Clerk, that's all I have.
There are no communications and petitions. Citizens' comments. Pursuant to Section 4-10 of the Code of the City of Orange Township, each person addressing the council shall step up to the microphone, shall give his or her name and address in an audible term for the record, and unless further time is granted by the presiding officer, shall limit his or her address to 5 minutes. The public is expected to conduct themselves in a proper manner. Any derogatory, abusive, or threatening statements will not be permitted. The chair will immediately rule such conduct out of order and terminate any further comments.
Mr. Jeff Fells?
Good evening. My name is Jeffrey Feld, a local businessman, attorney, and mortgagee whose local business address is 268 Main Street, Orange, New Jersey. As my custom, I've delivered a heads-up roadmap memo to the council, the BA, city attorney, and city clerk, and I incorporate my questions I have in it that be part of the record. First, I'd like to express my condolences to Councilperson Wootens. I'm glad to see you back here tonight. As to Art Griffith, I saw him about 3 weeks ago at the Krausers, and we were talking, and his last words were, for me, were, continue what you're doing. Speak truth to power. The reason I say that, we are in a very fluid situation in our state now. I don't know how many people saw the Star Ledger this Sunday about the 3 or 4 page article that there's a scandal that's growing regarding tax incentives. There seems to be a civil war growing within the state Democratic Party. Also, it's been reported that Jersey City just paid, or been ordered to pay, a law firm $95,000 for not complying with Oprah. And here, I mean, I made sure we get the agenda packet. I had an agreement, and I can't get paid. Interesting, May 1st, last week, was Law Day. And the judiciary's theme this year was free speech, free press, and a free society. And as part of the packet I gave you was the press release issued on May 2nd regarding the DCA's commissioner and some of the statements in there, where she recognizes that under the prior administration or prior governor, he cut the funding, and they really, DCA could not do what the work they were doing. Earlier this evening, we heard about the closing that occurred at the Y. And pursuant to Oprah, last Friday, I received some of the closing documents. The closing occurred on the deeds are dated March 29th, 2019. The question is, on all the documents we get, the bill list and the monthly reports, how would the public be able to trace the money? Because one of the things the deed says you paid $1,990,000. Where'd that money come from? I think the public is entitled to know to trace the money. So we haven't had a closing and where it came. There is litigation going on, but there's one of the issues is how did it happen? And also the deeds. Isn't the official name of this entity the City of Orange Township? Why are the deeds made out to the City of Orange? Why would our mayor sign a deed with that name? This is the kind of sloppiness that gets us in trouble. Today is May 7th. We heard at best the budget will be introduced in June 1st, at the beginning of June. Most likely that means the budget won't be adopted till July. We can't take this. Because yesterday I attended the Board of Education's public hearing on their budget. There was only 2 citizens in the room, and I was one of them. People, there's a sin of silence. We have to stand up. I'm entitled to answers. We're entitled to know where the money came and how to get traced. But the question is, no council member asked tonight, how do we pay for this? Where did the money come from, Mr. Mapp? And this ties into the budget and the monthly reports. We're getting into a problem. There's a reason why the budget hasn't been approved. There's a reason why certain cases are being had. You need to start looking at the work product of your attorneys. Today, there's an article, a case came out, a published opinion regarding standing. If you read that opinion, probably Feld 6 was reversed today about the standing. And if I had had standing, we would not be litigating some of the issues about long-term tax abatements. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Feld. Reverend Stoddard?
Say good evening to you, Mr. Council President, and to the members of the
Good evening,
City
sir. How
Council.
are you
How's
today?
everybody doing?
Good and you?
Thank you.
All right, wonderful. It's good to see everybody this evening. And there are a couple of things that I wanted to bring to your attention and suggestions and ideas regarding our church and how we could better serve the community. I don't know how many of you know, presently our church serves 700 people a month in terms of food, in terms of the soup kitchen. Our pantry is in the top 25 pantry in the county. And we work along with Summit Medical with a diabetes program. So our diabetes program, the idea is as people join the diabetes program, they receive counseling, they receive food specific to that need. And so I wanted to, first of all, bring that to your attention. And in addition to that, invite you to our health fair. We have a community health fair scheduled for the 2nd of June. This community health fair is going to be right here at the park, or right off Central Avenue, right here, in front of the middle school. The last year, this thing was so effective that we literally saved somebody's life. They caught early cancer, and they were able to get the treatment. So this year, we will have oral exam and cleaning for children, prostate and colorectal cancer screening, smoking cessation and lung screening, vision testing. We're going to have chiropractors there. And so I wanted to ensure that we have the city and the city council on board. I'm meeting with the mayor on Thursday morning, Thursday around noon actually, to ensure that we're having all that we need to make this as effective as possible. Hoping that we're going to have the police presence. I think we have already, we got that. And I'd like to get arms like those. I need to go to his gym. I need to have you work out with me and help me to get my biceps and triceps to be 24-inch pythons. But we do, I want to make it clear, and I'm glad I can say this in front of Mr. Hartwig, that my understanding is that we need to have at least 6 officers on site. Our church typically would cover the cost for 2, and our hope is that the other 4 officers will be covered, because this service that we're doing for the city and for the community, I believe, will have lasting impact. And I'm hoping that I see all of you there. Again, I have flyers I want to give you. I want to put in your hands as many as you can use, so you can pass it out to the people over at your church and invite them on out. And I also want to make very clear that to the police and fire department that the Church of the Oranges is available for graduations. I know St. Matthew gets first dibs, but we don't mind getting second dibs. We'll take the crumbs that fall from the table. So if you could pass us some crumbs, we'll receive it gladly. But we just want the city council to know that we're here, we're fully committed, we are willing to serve, we are putting our hands to it, and we want to ensure that this partnership is what it ought to be to raise the level for our community overall. There's a building that I think is the former City Hall building on Highland Avenue, is that correct?
You mean Lincoln and Tremont?
You think of the corner of Tremont?
Yeah.
The police department?
Yes, former police department. I'm interested in finding out, is there a designated purpose for that building? It's been sitting for a while. Can we
You might
consider
want
some
to talk
kind
to
of
the
partnership?
BA
Is there-
offline about that.
Okay,
Which one building is that though?
The old Tremont Avenue School, the old police building.
okay, so we'll talk.
Yeah.
We'll talk.
Yeah.
All right, I'll come and talk to the BA and we'll see. All right, thank you so much again. I don't know if you want me to leave a couple of these with you, but I hope to see us there. Okay. Thank you. Madam Clerk?
I thank you, Bevan. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, sir. All right, sir.
Ivory Brown?
Good evening, everyone.
How are you?
I'm here on behalf of Hair So Fab. We are a virgin hair company in Orange on Main Street. And I'm here because, sorry, I'm a little nervous. So we've been on Main Street for 3 years and counting. And we just wanted to get more involved in the community. Last year, we donated bundles to 25 prom young ladies, and this year we wanted to do 75, but we're having a little difficulty getting it out in the public. We posted it and we contacted the schools, so we just wanted to, get more involved, and I spoke to Councilwoman today, and she told me to come, so I'm here just to tell you guys about us. We're located 278 Main Street. We also offering discounts to the prom students who don't need the assistance of free hair, who can afford to purchase. But we know that some students have difficulties, going to the prom the way they would like. And we definitely would love to help out. We also is offering discounts to graduating college students. And we have general discounts for pretty much everyone. But we really would like to get 75 young ladies throughout Orange to give them free bundles to get their hair done for prom.
Council President,
Councilwoman Williams?
I invited her, she has a beautiful flyer out talking about the prom.
I brought some.
And she's shy. And one of the things I noticed, the business is right next to T-Mobile, and has a consistently beautiful window. And
Thank
it really, really looks nice. But Pastor Stoddard, this is where you're great at, community outreach. And I just heard that you want to help young women with prom dresses.
No, bundles.
Or hair, and for their prom, to prepare
Yes.
for their prom, and just not getting a response from the school. And Pastor Stoddard has a big mouth, so he might help you. You know, but, and I know one of the things is that our young women, if they know, and they probably would, you want to help, you know.
Yes,
Okay.
we've had a lot of students come in to purchase, and we're offering those that are purchasing up to 30% off.
Okay.
But we definitely know some people would like to buy and probably can't afford it, you know. Hair is high maintenance, so
Okay.
we definitely want to help.
That's
Last year, we did 25. We also provided them with dress and the stylist to do their hair.
Okay.
But because we wanted to give more this year, we wanted to just do the bundles.
Okay, all right.
Are you offering free hairstyles or discounted?
We're offering free bundles.
Okay.
So they're here to get their hair done.
Okay, and you doing the prom dresses also?
We're not doing the prom dresses this year.
Can I have a card, because I'll give it to our senior
Yes, I'm going to.
advisor at the school tomorrow.
Okay. We
Because
also
I work in a high
emailed-
school,
Oh,
so I
that's
can give it
great,
to
yes.
her and she
We
can.
emailed a lot of counselors, but we didn't really get any feedback.
Yeah.
Well, you probably need
What's your
to,
baby?
because
It's
usually the counselors are not the, I want to say consultants for the
Yeah.
proms and for seniors.
Class advisor.
It's usually some, they have a
Prom
person that manages,
coordinator,
and
yeah.
it usually don't go through the guidance council. So I said, if you give me some,
Yes, I'm gonna
I'll
give
give
them
them
to
to
you.
the young lady that's doing our seniors this year.
Yeah, she's
And
on
our
they're
juniors.
on class
Yes.
trip right now. Right? They're in Virginia right now, so they're in a class trip,
Who?
the seniors.
Senior class.
I'm talking about campus high school, not Orange.
Oh, okay, not ours.
That's where I work, right?
And we'll split it in half, so we make sure. Orange gets-
And I know,
okay. You give it to Councilwoman.
Yeah, you
Councilwoman
can
Brown.
just pass some around to us.
okay.
Just give them to the clerk.
You want some hair, sir?
Also, we want, I know we spoke about partnering with different events that you guys will have in the community. We'd love to partner up. We just want to get more involved.
Okay. Say no more.
Sorry.
You can leave them right here. We'll give them out, yeah. Just give 'em out.
Thank you.
And what's your name again, you said?
Ivy Brown.
Okay, it's in the book, yeah.
Okay, and I also want to say thanks to the police department, because every issue we've had, they always show up and they're always very helpful.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Brown.
All right, Ms. Brown, thank you.
Can I get a motion to close citizen comments?
Second.
Motion by Councilwoman Wooten, second by Councilman Johnson Jr. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Council comments.
Council comments. Councilwoman Williams?
Can you come back to me, sir?
Sure. Councilwoman Wooten?
Can you please,
Say again?
can you please come back to me?
Absolutely. Councilwoman Eason.
That's happened, everybody making me the first one tonight. Some of the things that I had, you've already addressed. Mr. Hartwick, one question I want to ask about. Is there any way, I know you're saying that we're waiting for the budget. I ran across some guy today that was in her jeans because she has no pants, crossing out students. So I'm wondering if there's some way we can have them buy pants someplace until you get the uniforms. They gotta have something so they look uniform out there. She had on her jeans and her regular clothes, and I think when you're driving your car, if you see a uniform, you slow down. But if you're in your regular dress, people don't know that's a crossing guard. So I don't know how we can do something in the meantime until we get their uniforms. Maybe it's just a matter of going to Walmart's, buying some blue pants, so that at least they have on part of the uniform, I don't know. Or maybe we can get some and ask them if they would let us pay us when the budget is passed.
I'll look at it.
Would you mind?
Sure.
I mean, we gotta do something. I know you're saying budget, but they can't stand out there in their jeans and,
Budget.
so maybe we can do something temporarily that will help
Cap.
them.
Can you see me?
maybe some, and new garbage cans. I think I talked to Marty about that. We've got to get some new garbage cans on Main Street if we're gonna upgrade it, if they look horrible, horrible. And one of the things I want to address, as we ride from town to town, and like all of our employees are going from town to town, we still have that board out there in front of City Hall where you put the signs, right? Now, if you look at West Orange in front of their City Hall, and the residents are complaining that they don't know when we have activities, what's going on, they don't get the emails, they're not on Facebook, they're not on the website. Can we just have Mr. Royce to make some cheap banners that the rain won't destroy, and just make, I want you to go take a look at the one in West Orange, and maybe we can cover that with the banner when we're having an event coming up. I want to be able to ride and read it as I go and not have to get out my car and go read the fine print. Because if we're having like, what are we having, Community Day? We should have a banner on that sign. We're not using it anyway, so let's make use of it. I mean, it doesn't have to be where we go to Leroy's and spend a lot of money. Somebody just can make a banner that can sustain the rain. Just put it up there so that people can read what's going on as they ride by City Hall. We put it up, we might as well utilize it, right? I mean, West Orange does a nice job with that. And I was riding by there and I said, I hope some of us have ridden by and seen it, that you can read the sign as you go by. When that event is over, you put another event up there so that people would get, we can have more coverage. And the other thing, I wanted, Mr. Hardwick, there was a mention of shared services, and I think all of the council needs to be involved in that. So before you make any moves, I was just having a conversation the other day, and a lot of municipalities think it's horrible for them to do shared services. They spend a lot more money. It didn't really work out the way Governor Christie thought it was. So as we venture down that road, just make sure that you keep all of the council members in the loop, and that we don't go off and do anything because one person requested and that all 7 members have some input.
Yeah, so to be clear, the mayor and I have had this discussion on multiple occasions. And the EMS piece presents some unique challenges, but there are also some opportunities that have recently been presented with contracts that have been given out in certain municipalities that have involved the same vendor. So that's why. And the cost associated with the EMS service and bringing it in-house is prohibitive, given the current cap restraints that we have both on the levy cap side and on the appropriation cap side. So there's a lot of discussion going on statewide about this very issue, how those contracts are treated in connection with budgets, and whether or not local shared service agreements somehow should be the beneficiary of being able to be outside of the appropriation cap. So there's a lot of work to do. I don't want anyone to think that we're down the road. And as it relates to that beeper wasn't for me, was it?
We're still on Miss Easter time.
Okay. As it relates to the courts, that was an issue that was brought to the administration, as I indicated, by the presiding assignment judge for the vicinage and the presiding municipal court judge. So all of our court and the judges, they report up the judiciary chain and are under the jurisdiction of the assignment judge of Essex County. So they have asked us specifically to look at that because they've been to our facility and recognized that we actually have a facility that could accommodate additional use.
So we can rent it or lease it to them for, but anyway, get back to moving on. And one of the things that our zoning board and our planning board is asking, so as we do the budget, they want to have access to more training. So one of the ideas that came up is that on the first day of the league, I think in Atlantic City, they do training for planning board members, training for zoning. And they have a problem because they're not keeping abreast of all the updates that's changing in land use and all of that. So I just want us to think about maybe that we sort of budget for 2 people to go just one day, drive down, drive back, to attend some of those sessions and turnkey it back to the rest of the members. So keep that in mind. Okay? Well, we gotta figure out something or bring somebody in-house to
So
help them. We
that-
went to training on Saturday.
Yeah, that I have no
That was a
problem with.
great training.
I can arrange to bring an in-house training session on updates
And that's fine.
for
That'll
both
work.
boards.
That'll work.
Okay.
If we just do it on I said maybe one might wanna do it quarterly or.
Yeah.
And just so or either we can find a website that will.
And I can also get, through the League of Municipalities, they have staff that keeps up on all of the land use changes, and I can get them to come in and assist as well.
I hope so. That'll work. Don't have to spend any money, because something comes on my cell phone called Law 360, what updates me on a lot of cases that's happening throughout.
Yeah.
And I read them from time to time, and we're just looking for something because they feel that they don't get the updates in a timely manner so they can make good, informed decisions. And I think that's all I have. And I want to say welcome back to our councilwoman, and
Thank you,
still
Council.
praying for you.
Councilman Jackson.
Thank you very much, Council President. I'd like to also welcome you back. It's good to see you across the dais, and nice to have you back safely. I also would like to continue at least some comments with that Councilwoman Easton expressed regarding notification using signage. I just hope that we, well, one of my pet peeves is plastic. You know, plastic is environmental poison. And I'm hoping that we try to find some way to notify them. If it is a banner, that it may be biodegradable in some way. Just trying to find some other ways that we can inform them other than a big plastic sign that's never gonna it'll just be sitting in a cabinet somewhere after the event. Or we put it in the trash and throw it away. If we could just find a way to be informative without polluting.
I'm saying throwaways. It doesn't have to be nothing extravagant.
Okay,
Just a
I'm just
banner.
saying, you said it could
You
take
might
away.
know everything, but everybody else doesn't in the city. So.
What do you mean everything?
Because they want to see what's happening.
Yeah, I know, but I mean,
Yeah,
I think we on the same page.
Thank you.
You know,
Hey, Councilman, that's his 5 minutes you interrupted.
as I have a reputation for knowing everything, I didn't know that. I sure enough need to be telling people what to do.
We're going to have you donate one.
Okay, thanks so much. I appreciate that. Anyway, well, you rather I just go back and forth? You want to be entertained? Peace and love, Sister dear. All right. So either way, just consider that. Plastic is poison. I'd like to also just say a couple of words about Mr. Griffa, just to, even though his history is somewhat represented well in this resolution that is coming forward, he and I served on the Citizens Budget Advisory Council, and when I first started going to see the Board of Education meetings, he was a strong member there, and he is one of those citizens that is concerned about how our town is moving forward. And it's men like him that inspire me to continue to ask those uncomfortable questions and to, do the hard work to represent the city on the city council. Thanks for Mr. Griffa coming to Orange, and I really appreciated all that he did to speak up for the citizens here. I also would like to just talk one thing about the master plan. As I mentioned, I called it somewhat like a reconstruction of Orange, and to let people know that as these streets are being reconstructed, they're being fixed, to be patient. And there are so many, 31 streets. I'm not going to read them all here, but I encourage you to look on the website, look for this particular resolution, 156-2019, to see what streets are on there. And if you haven't noticed, have been several streets that have been fixed. Those are the kind of things that make our town much better. And certainly, I'm very much appreciative of not having to, drive very slow and avoid big potholes that can cause a lot of suspension problems. I just had a lot of work done on the suspension on my car, which I think a lot of us are having to do. Just be patient as things are changing. There's a lot of good projects coming, as we talked about the closing of the properties on Main Street, and utilize those information resources, the websites, this television program, your council people, so that you can be informed. If you hear something, don't necessarily take it as the truth. Look it up for yourself. Do some information gathering on your own, and if you have an issue that you like to bring up, make sure you speak to your neighbors and bring them to your representatives so that we can serve your needs directly. Please be involved. Citizenship is more than just voting and paying taxes if you want to be involved. All right? Thanks so much.
Thank you, Councilman.
You're welcome.
Councilman Johnson.
Council President, thank you very much. I'll be brief. My dear council members, West Ward residents, and all the good people of Orange, my heart is heavy. My dear friend Maria Vandermeer is battling some serious health issues right now. Maria is a lifelong resident of Orange, one of the hardest working stalwarts in the city of Orange that I know. Maria has served the good people of Orange, New Jersey on this legislative body. She worked tirelessly as a councilwoman, fighting for constituents in the West Ward. The men and women in the police department directly benefited from her advocacy over the years. I'm asking everyone to join me in wishing Maria well. Maria, if you're watching the meeting tonight, we will continue to lift you up in prayer. Come home soon. West 3, 4, 5, and 6 miss you dearly. If anyone needs the address to Kessler Institute, I can give that to you tonight. Let's all reach out to Maria as soon as possible. Thank you, Council President.
You're welcome, Councilman. We're going to go back to Councilwoman Williams.
Thank you, Council President. To start off, we don't have, and I can ask you, perhaps, Chris, in our health department, are we having any discussion about Legionnaires and measles? Because we've had some cases both in New Jersey, close by.
Not Legionnaires, but we are in the process of crafting a bulletin regarding measles and mosquito issues.
Okay, and so that'll
And it'll be disseminated through the city's communication platform and placed on the website.
Okay, thank you. Video left? No. He's there? Can you ask him to come for a second? And of course, I want to send my condolences to the Griffer family, and for those who care to know that the funeral is tomorrow, and the name of the church, I'll just print it out so we can announce it at the end of the meeting, because I don't have it right in front of me. Captain, can you come to the podium, sir? I've been getting calls, and I could have asked you, and it just hit me because I'm looking at my notes. 2020, will you be doing, police department, an announcement about summer initiatives and things of that sort?
Yes, we will. I believe the last time I spoke with you, I indicated that we were starting to ramp up our spring and summer initiatives.
Okay. So if citizens want to know specifically, will there be any a formal announcement, whether it's a flyer or something like that, or you just continue to talk? Okay.
No, because if we put it out there,
Okay.
they're gonna know our operational.
No, not that part, just a community, you
Yeah,
know.
well, we just put it out there, we'll be conducting our summer initiatives,
Okay.
starting maybe the second week of May.
Okay, and in a meeting, I know you did have the community meeting prior, but are you we're gonna start having the community board meetings again consistently?
Absolutely.
Okay. Do we have a date? Like, is it every Thursday?
No, You guys set it up and we'll attend.
If we set it up, but
Yes,
not
you
the
let
one,
us-
that
you
not
let
the
us know.
PR, not,
Yes.
okay.
Let us know when you guys want them, and we're more than glad to show up.
Okay, so if we do them, okay.
Yes.
All right, thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Okay. Mr. Hardwick, you already spoke about the budgets, and then, I wanted to talk briefly about New Jersey Transit. And, it will probably be more helpful if we actually do a summary document. But for the citizens who are listening under the sound of our voice, there will be another, displacement of trains, no trains if you recall, this, Summer of Hell, which actually ended up being a great summer commute. But there will be another disruption as they continue to do track work on the train. So the new Midtown Direct will be redirected into Hoboken after certain hours. But I think, what do you think, Mr. Harwood, that we should just put a summary document out or what?
We drafted a notification. It reads as follows.
Okay.
Dear Orange residents, New Jersey Transit is notifying its customers about upcoming service adjustments that will take effect Monday, June 17th through Friday, September 6th. New Jersey Transit will temporarily divert Midtown Direct rail service on the Montclair Booton line and one North Jersey Coast Line train to Hoboken. These changes are necessary to accommodate Amtrak repair work at Penn Station, New York. Other temporary service adjustments during the repair period will include the Morris-Essex Line Midtown Direct trains no longer stopping at Newark Broad Street Station during certain times in the morning and evening. Both the Orange train station and Highland Avenue stations are stops along the Morris-Essex line. To ensure that you have the most up-to-date information concerning your daily commute, the City of Orange Township and New Jersey Transit strongly advise customers to visit njtransit.com/inform, period. That is a website that's been set up by New Jersey Transit. It will be updated hourly each day and should list all service interruptions for the day. They do not provide us with a construction schedule, so I can't sit here now and tell you on X date you won't have service. You must go and update yourself at njtransit.com/inform. And that notification will be sent out citywide through the communication platform and be posted on the website.
And if we can put it as a part of something, we can continually, because it's going to continue to be updated as well. And thank you, Council President. One more thing. Our council meeting, we're coming to the end of our schedule for the council, and July 1st is always the July meeting is always a, challenging date because of holidays. And I believe July 1st falls on a Monday. But I guess by the next meeting, if that can be something that we can have, what date are we going to have our July meeting? Because I think if we have it at the top of meeting, is that going to be good for business in terms of getting things, the bill list and things done? So just if we can get that thought in our head, what date of the July meeting is going to be on and get it scheduled so people can make plans accordingly. And last but not least, just want to wish everybody a happy Mother's Day. And have time to celebrate our moms, and specifically my mom. And it's not only Mother's Day, but this Friday is her birthday. So to my mom, Frances Williams, happy birthday and happy Mother's Day. But to all the moms under my sight, those who all have me as their daughter, just happy Mother's Day.
Thank you. Councilwoman Wooten.
Council President, first I'd like to announce the City of Orange Township Orange Family Community Day, which is on May the 18th, and I think people are already talking about it, but it's on May the 18th. It's going to be from 12 to 5 p.m., and I think it's at Monty Irvin Park.
It is.
Secondly, I have a question about a vacant and abandoned house. It is not in Orange, it's on the border of Orange and East Orange. It's on Hilliard and Elm Street, and Marty probably knows. So is it anything that we can expedite a conversation with East Orange and getting that taken care of? Because I think there's been some dumping again.
My counterpart in East Orange.
Okay. And then I just want to read like a brief statement from my family. I want to thank the citizens of the City of Orange Township, administration, employees of the City of Orange Township. Special thanks to City Council, Governor Phil Murphy, Mayor Warren, Mayor Mapp, Assemblyman Thomas Giblin, Freeholder President Brendan Gill, Freeholder Tashami Cooper, Freeholder Angela Garrison, Village Trustee Deborah Davis Ford, Orange Housing Authority. We want to thank each of you for your inspiring letters, cards, donations, and acts of kindness during my family's we received during the funeral service of my youngest son, Christopher A. Wooten. The support of people like you is truly remarkable, and it means so much to my family and I. Once again, thank each of you for your divine words and deeds during our family's most trying times. And my mother made me promise to read that, so once again, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Adrian.
Alrighty. I'll be real brief here. I have a public notice here from the clerk's office. They had late-night voter registration. The City of Orange Township Office of the Clerk will have a late-night voter registration on Tuesday. I repeat, Tuesday, May 14th, 2019. The City Clerk's office will be open from 8:30 a.m. to 9 p.m. 8:30 a.m. to 9 p.m. The clerk office is located 4th floor here in City Hall. And the voter registrations will take place right here in this conference room. Again, May 14th, 2014 is the last day to register or transfer your voter registration. And the primary election is June 4th, 2019. And again, I would like to extend my heartfelt condolences to Councilwoman Adrian Wooten for the loss of her son, and also the loss of Art Griffer. And Mr. Mays and the BA, the paving plan that we are getting ready to roll out. I know I asked about this in the past. As we roll out our paving plan, are we going to inspect and replace and repair any water lines, water mains, and gas lines that need to be done while we had the road open? So we don't do this twice.
Well, we don't do the gas lines. We can, if we see damage when we open it up, well, obviously, we'll notify PSE&G immediately. Come on up, Marty. We contracted with a firm to do a camera inspection and ground penetrating radar inspection of all the pipes on the 38 roads. We have a report from that company, and that will be taken, already has been taken into account and consideration in the planning of the project.
Yes, Chris is absolutely right. We hired a company, they videoed it, so forth and so on. But I want to say that with this project, we're doing exactly what you said. We're replacing all the grates, all the
manhole covers.
Everything is being replaced on all the streets.
All the storm sewer drain
Right.
linings, everything.
Which is good.
That's great.
That's great. And I can tell you right now, actually, we started on the 3 streets already. I don't know if everybody knows. We started on McChesney, Lakeside, and by Friday, we'll be on Burnside. We already started doing that for those as well.
Okay.
And we already walked those streets and notified the residents when it would start and what the duration of the project would be.
So you're right, it's It's great.
Working together, man.
Right.
Thank you. All right, and happy Mother's Day to all the mothers in the house and out here viewing our city council meeting. Madam Clerk, that's all I have.
Council President, can I just make one other announcement?
It's gonna cost you.
Send me a bill.
Okay.
I just want to mention the senior forum on May 22nd from 10 a.m. In the city council chambers. So I'm asking all our seniors to please come out on the 22nd if you have concerns, if things are not going the way you want them to go in the city. As the mayor says, come out and let's talk about it. May 22nd, 10 a.m., city council chambers. And if you need transportation, just call City Hall. Okay, thank you.
You're quite welcome, Madam Clerk.
Was that
Ordinance on second reading, public hearing. 12/2019 has been postponed. The public hearing is still open to 5/21/19 meeting. 17/2019, an ordinance to amend the code of the City of Orange Township, Chapter 200, entitled Vehicles and Traffic, Section 200-33, Schedule 2, no parking, certain hours, Washington Street. Are there any citizens wish to speak? There a motion to close citizen comments?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Johnson Jr., second by Councilman Jackson. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion to adopt on final.
Move. Second.
Motion by Councilwoman Williams, second by Councilman Johnson Jr. On the motion,
On the motion.
seeing none, roll call. Councilwoman Eason?
Yes.
Councilman Jackson?
Yes.
Councilman Johnson Jr.?
Yes.
Councilwoman Summers Johnson is absent. Councilwoman Williams? She stepped out the room. Councilwoman Wooten?
Yes.
Councilwoman Williams?
Yes.
Council President Coley?
Yes.
Motion passed. 18-2019, Council President said there needs to be amendment. Can you go over the amendment again? I'll read the title. An ordinance to amend the code of the City of Orange Township, Chapter 200, entitled Vehicle and Traffic, Section 200-52-1, Handicap Parking Spaces, 196 Oakwood Place.
That should read across from 196 Oakwood Place.
What paragraph is that?
I guess,
Is it in the ordinance or that cover sheet?
it's in the cover sheet.
Okay, so it doesn't need to be amended, just the cover sheet. Are any citizens wish to speak? Is there a motion to close citizen comments?
Second.
Motion by Councilwoman Williams, second by Councilman Johnson Jr. on the motion, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Is there a motion to adopt on final?
Move.
Second.
Motion by Councilwoman Williams, second by Councilman Johnson Jr. on the motion.
On the motion?
Seeing none, roll call. Councilwoman Eason?
Yes.
Councilman Jackson?
Yes.
Councilman Johnson Jr.?
Yes.
Councilwoman Summers Johnson is absent. Councilwoman Williams?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wooten?
Yes.
Council President Coley?
Yes.
Motion passed. Ordinance on introduction and first reading, 19-2019 is going to be postponed to the May 21st meeting. 21-2019, an ordinance to amend the code of the City of Orange Township, Chapter 200, entitled Vehicle and Traffic, Section 200-52-1, Handicap Parking Spaces, 192 Park Place. Is there a motion to adopt on first?
Move.
Second.
Motion by Councilwoman Williams, second by Councilwoman Wooten. On the motion,
On the motion?
seeing none, roll call. Councilwoman Eason.
Yes.
Councilman Jackson.
Yes.
Councilman Johnson Jr.
Yes.
Councilwoman Summers Johnson is absent. Councilwoman Williams.
Yes.
Councilwoman Wooten.
Yes.
Council President Coley.
Yes.
There's a misprint. The final reading is Wednesday, June 5th, because June 4th is primary election day. 22-2019, an ordinance to amend the code of the City of Orange Township, Chapter 200, entitled Vehicle and Traffic, Section 200-44, Bus Stop Designated, North Day Street and White Street. Is there a motion to adopt on first?
Move.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Johnson Jr., second by Councilwoman Wooten. On the motion,
On the motion?
seeing none, roll call. Councilwoman Eason.
Yes.
Councilman Jackson.
Yes.
Councilman Johnson Jr.
Yes.
Councilwoman Summers Johnson is absent. Councilwoman Williams.
Yes.
Councilwoman Wooten.
Yes.
Council President Coley.
Yes.
Final reading, June 5th, 2019. 2019, an ordinance to amend the Code of the City of Orange Township, Chapter 200, entitled Vehicle and Traffic, Section 200-46, Schedule 15, Prohibited Turns at Intersection. Is there a motion to adopt that first?
Move.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Johnson Jr., second by Councilwoman Wooten on the motion. Seeing none, roll call. You have something on the motion?
Yes, Mr. Mays, for this, I guess new ordinance, that's going to, prohibit the, I guess, the left-hand turning into the driveway at the Dunkin' Donuts. Are we gonna put up those orange flexible, okay, thingies, okay,
We're also gonna put some additional signage up that we talked about,
Okay.
which is on the westbound side, we're putting up signs that say, "Don't block the driveways."
Okay.
For the queuing
Thank you,
line.
Council President.
say again?
Thank you.
You're quite welcome.
'Cause I forgot to bring that up, because I was out there the other day.
See?
and- yeah.
They've been ordered.
Thank you. Remember, we've been asking for this for a long time.
I read your mind sometime, Councilwoman.
They
Not
need to-
always.
They need to move their they need to move their Dunkin' Donuts into the West Ward.
Next thing we're gonna get to is, we're gonna get to
Right
the
on Fort
timing of the
Terrace.
streetlights on Main Street and Lincoln.
Get some what?
We're gonna get to the timing of the traffic lights on Main Street.
Lincoln and Main and Scotland Road is,
We had a meeting with the county engineer 2 weeks ago, they'll be coming out to address that.
Okay.
Roll call, Councilwoman Easton,
yes.
Councilman Jackson,
Yes.
Councilman Johnson Jr.,
Yes.
Councilwoman Summers Johnson is absent, Councilwoman Williams,
Yes.
Councilwoman Wooten,
Yes.
Council President Coley.
Yes,
Final reading, June 5th, 2019.
awesome.
Consent agenda. All items listed with an asterisk are considered to be routine by the City Council and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member so requests, in which event the item will be removed from the general order of business and considered in the normal sequence of the agenda. Are there any items on the agenda that the council wish to remove for a separate vote? No. Is there a motion to adopt the consent agenda?
Motion.
Moved by Councilman Jackson, second by Councilwoman Wooten. On the motion,
On the motion,
seeing none, roll call. Councilwoman Easton,
Yes.
Councilman Jackson,
Yes.
Councilman Johnson Jr.,
Yes.
Councilwoman Summers Johnson is absent, Councilwoman Williams,
Yes.
Councilwoman Wooten,
Yes.
Council President Coley.
yes.
New business. Resolution 166-2019 is a walk-on. It's being considered to be placed on the agenda. The title reads, "A Resolution Celebrating the Life of Arthur James William Griffa," sponsored by Councilman Harold Johnson Jr. and the council as a whole. Is there a motion to walk this resolution on the agenda?
Move.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Johnson Jr., second by Councilman Jackson. On the motion,
On the motion,
On the motion, Council President.
Yes, Councilman
colleagues,
Johnson.
This resolution is dear to my heart. Thanks everybody that had a hand in putting it together. Mr. Griffith's funeral services tomorrow. I hope everybody can make it to represent if you can. Thank you very much, Council President.
you're quite welcome,
I'm
Councilman.
sorry, Councilman.
Councilwoman Williams.
Councilman Johnson, you go ahead and just extend the location and time. I know you had it before you.
I think I just
I
sent
believe it's
the,
153 Glenwood Avenue,
153. What?
153 Glenwood Avenue, East
Glenwood
Orange.
Avenue, yeah.
Is that
The
the
Lutheran-
Lutheran
the
Church?
viewing
Lutheran
is 9
Church.
to 11 a.m.
Ask the clerk.
The service starts at 11 a.m. The location is Holy Trinity Lutheran Church, 153 Glenwood Avenue, East Orange, New Jersey.
Thank you, Joyce.
Welcome.
Council
Yes, sir.
President,
Yes, Councilwoman Eason.
I just want to say, Mr. Griffith is going to be sorely missed, because one thing about him, he was a real stand-up person. He spoke his mind and he fought for what he believed in. May not always agree with him, but me and him have had many arguments on each side of the fence. But needless to say, we became good friends at the end. And when I went to the house to be with his wife the other night, she said, Arthur is up in heaven saying, "You mean I had to die for Tensor to come to my house?" So I was like, yeah. So I said, that's him. He would say that. She didn't come while I was there. I had to die. But yeah, he was a good friend, and he's going to be sorely missed from this city because he really loved Orange. He truly did.
Council President,
Councilwoman Williams.
just want to, just help us to be very mindful, Mr. Griffa, and yes, his very opinionated self and how he stood his ground on his position, but also his work. I know one of the things that, if you didn't find common ground on a lot of things, where you could find common ground is his love of the YMCA. He really loved the YMCA, the work that he did there, and to sit down and listen to, how he felt about the Y and the work that had been done over the years is something that I was always amazed with. And also, as many know, that he was a member of Omega Psi Phi, and there was an annual event that they had, the Dr. Martin Luther King breakfast, which was held in Montclair, and you would always see Mr. Griffa in the kitchen cooking breakfast. So I know when this year comes around in 2020 and he's missing, it'll be noticed, and just sending love and prayers out to his family.
And Council President, we don't want to overlook his diligent work on Orange District Facilities Committee. He tried to get as many new schools built in this city as possible in his tenure. He drove up and down the road to Trenton, advocating for this town.
And his birthday is next week, the 15th. Isn't that ironic?
Yeah, he did something.
Roll call, Councilwoman Eason,
Yes.
Councilman Jackson,
Yes.
Councilman Johnson Jr.,
Yes.
Councilwoman Summers Johnson is absent, Councilwoman Williams,
Yes.
Councilwoman Wooten,
Yes.
Council President Coley.
Yes.
Are there any citizens who wish to speak on this resolution? Motion to close citizens' comment.
Move.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Johnson Jr., second by Councilwoman Eason. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution 166-2019 WO, a resolution celebrating the life of author James William Griffa, sponsored by Councilman Howard Johnson Jr. and the Council of a whole. Is there a motion to adopt?
Move.
Second.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Johnson Jr., second by Councilwoman Williams. On the motion,
On the motion.
seeing none, roll call. Councilwoman Eason.
Yes.
Councilman Jackson.
Yes.
Councilman Johnson Jr.
Yes.
Councilwoman Summers Johnson is absent. Councilwoman Williams.
Yes.
Councilwoman Wooten.
Yes.
Council President Coley.
Yes.
Is there any pending business?
Council President,
Councilwoman Wooten.
I received a text from head coach Akeem May and assistant coach June Pierre. He wanted to announce that the Orange Recreation PAL 15U All-Star Spring Football Team will be playing at Bell Stadium against East Orange All-Stars this Saturday night at 7 p.m. The Battle of the Oranges, both teams are undefeated 4-0. Teams are playing for #1 seed in the East Coast Spring Football League. So please come out and support. Game time is 7 p.m.
Where is
Could you forward the text to me so we can at least post it as well?
I sure will.
May 11th.
Thank you.
Council President?
Councilwoman Williams.
Just wanted to remind everybody that tomorrow, May 8th, the Mother's Day breakfast celebration will be held at the Elks Lodge at 11 a.m. Mother's Day breakfast celebration at the Elks Lodge tomorrow at 11 a.m. And then,
Who's cooking?
me. It's a surprise, sir. And also, the clerk's office, you will be doing extended hours to ensure that persons are registered for the primary.
Yes.
What day is that, late night?
Late night again, Tuesday, May 14th.
Tuesday, May 14th.
May 14th until 9 p.m.
Get, no excuse, get
No
registered.
excuse, 9 p.m.
Get registered.
And the Community Services Recreation Department is open late on Mondays
Oh, yeah.
for the next several weeks for early registration for summer programs and camp.
And we'll also be putting a notice out about flag raising on May 18th for Haitian Independence Day. But that'll come forth and it'll be all over each website. Thank you, Council President.
Okay, you're quite welcome.
Thank you for the card.
You're quite welcome.
Very nice of you. I look for the.
And as a matter of policy, I know that all our council members keep voter registration applications in their car somewhere, so as they're moving about, they can just stop the citizens and get their registrations complete. I know that we all do that, so I'm not gonna say no more about that.
Good, motion to adjourn?
Second.
Motion by Councilwoman Williams, second by Councilwoman Easton. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Meeting adjourned, 8:59.